Yo, welcome back to another episode of Yo Nerd, the podcast where we talk about nerd culture news, share opinions, and debate on pretty much anything. I'm Jase.
I'm Zion.
I'm Noah.
Got a fun episode today, guys. Going back to the DC corner. The Penguin on HBO Max just wrapped up, so we're going to talk about Batman, the Penguin, how it all fits together. It should be fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get right into it, and we'll do the news at the end. Got some fun stuff to talk about there. How to Train Your Dragon, but we'll get into that later. So,
some thoughts on that.
I just want to say, I guess, just getting right into it, The Penguin, honestly, one of the best TV shows I've watched in a while.
Oh, yeah. Hands down.
Especially coming from DC. They took a whole different approach to that they usually take as far as movies go. Just honestly phenomenal show.
Yeah.
Very well put together. No, you didn't watch it, right?
Nope.
Me and Zion watched it. It was honestly incredible.
Yeah.
The way that they go into characters' backstories is something that we don't see from DC because I guess we already sort of know a lot of the characters. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just feel like we become attached to the characters that they're giving us the backstories to. And it was great.
Yeah. Spoilers ahead for obviously the Penguin, the Batman, other Batman related media. We're going to mainly stick to that today, but definitely spoilers for the Batman movie and then the Penguin show. I think, so kind of getting into the review of the show overall, I think this show did a phenomenal job of making you truly care about the characters.
Yeah.
And it does this weird thing where it almost twists your own morality so that you're rooting for these people that genuinely are horrible people doing absolutely horrible things, and you're like rooting for them to succeed while doing these horrible things.
Exactly.
Do you want to go like character by character?
Let's go
Who was your
character by
favorite character in the show? My
favorite character in the show was Vic.
Really?
Yeah, my favorite character was definitely Vic.
Talk about his arc, because there's some stuff I think they use Vic. Like the show doesn't work as well without Vic in it.
Exactly.
But they also used him to kind of give more context to the Batman movie, which I love. But we'll get there. Talk about Vic.
So Victor Aguilar, I found out by episode 2, he's not a comic book character.
Yeah, they made him up.
They made him up completely. So I'm like, okay, there's a completely new guy. They can kind of do whatever they want with him.
Which I usually don't enjoy.
I really enjoyed it this time.
Yeah,
but usually I don't.
It's just weird.
Exactly.
It's like you have so many characters in these stories, but yeah, it worked well.
Yeah. So basically, Victor is this poor kid, and in the Batman movie, again, spoilers, his family was killed in the flood that the Riddler had started.
Yeah.
Why is this guy laughing?
Me and Zion had a conversation before we left.
Oh, okay.
There may have been some yelling involved. About the Batman. But here's what I love about what they did with Vic's story. In episode 3, you get to see a brief you get to see that moment happen from the Batman movie where the bombs go off.
Right.
The city starts flooding. And in the Batman movie, you get a sense of the scale of destruction, but it didn't feel like that devastating until the Penguin. Until this show.
Because we had personal connection.
You had personal connection, and you're literally seeing like Noah, for context. So Vic is, he's just a teenager, whatever. His family has a little apartment in like the worst neighborhood in Gotham, whatever. And he's like on a roof with his friends. They're hanging out, and there's just bombs that go off. And they think they're fireworks at first because that's election night. Mm-hmm. So like, oh, the fireworks must be sorry. And then it's just like, boom. Bro, a whole wall of like the seawall. You see it break open, floods like this highway, goes, and then this wave just crashes into the apartment.
He literally watched it happen.
He's like calling his mom so it gave such a deeper context to the story that the Batman is setting up, Gotham overall. And I think that was one of the strengths of the show, was it made you care so much more and see so much more of Gotham.
Right.
Like in a good Batman story, Gotham itself is a character for me. And I think they're building out the world in such a way where you really get to feel like Gotham is what it is in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a nasty place with the worst people.
Yeah.
You know, so
Definitely.
talk about Vic's kind of journey throughout the show.
So at first, Oz, or the Penguin, kind of recruits him to sort of like takes him under his wing. You can see it's very apparent.
Literally under threat of death.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no,
first,
yeah, of course. This is still the Penguin. Like,
Yeah.
he's not some like sweet guy, but he like pretty much has a gun to his head. He's like, yo, come with me.
Yeah.
But I honestly think he didn't like get rid of him immediately is because he saw himself
for sure.
in Vic. And we see that with Oz, which we'll get into a little later. But he basically sort of kind of grooms Vic to be like his driver, his personal like go-to guy for all this bad
He's
stuff.
the right hand.
Yeah, exactly. He's shout out Hamilton, right hand man. Well, yeah. Anyway, moving on. I just yeah. So basically, Vic at one point wants to sort of he's conflicted because he wants to leave he wants to leave Oz for this girl that he was with before the flood. Everything happened. They rekindled.
Get away from Gotham.
Exactly.
Start a new life.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any family left. You know,
Yeah.
have a fresh start. And what was crazy is up until that point, that was episode 5 or
4.
was it 3? It was
might have
somewhere
been.
in the middle.
I think it was
The whole time Vic feels like he is literally under threat, and that's why he stays with Oz.
Right.
He thinks if I try to leave, I know too much. This guy's gonna kill me.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I want to get away, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's sort of like I'm a prisoner
Exactly.
in this thing. And so I thought it was so crazy because Oz finds out that he's trying to leave.
And then
he's
Oz tells him to go. He's like, if you don't want to be here, go. Because
incredibly emotional.
Yeah,
Too.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, that scene is so good.
So good.
When they're talking in the bathroom and
Oh,
this is what you feel like. Oh, dude.
phenomenal
Bro,
acting.
Oz is crazy.
Yeah. And
The
then
pronunciation of some of the stuff. Legendary.
the thickest accent of all time.
Time, bro. What's your best like?
I
Can you do
I can't even do it.
The
Sophia. Like I can't.
Sophia, come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly.
Hey, Vic, get over here.
Literally.
Hey, I give you my word.
Literally, that's how he
Your word.
talks. It's so funny.
So good.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so after that, like Vic chooses to go back to Oz because he sees it as a way to get more in life. There's not a lot for people like him in the world, so he's getting $1,000 a week.
Exactly.
Actual power, quote unquote, in the city. He chooses to stay with Oz.
Right.
And bro, I was begging, go to California.
Yeah.
How it is.
And
Wait, hold up. We got other people in the studio here. Lincoln, did you watch?
I've only watched the one new episode.
you only
Plug
watched the
your
first
ears.
episode? If
Plug
you're
your
planning to
ears.
watch it, yeah, cover your ears real quick.
Extreme spoilers ahead.
Man, I honestly, going into this finale, I thought it was gonna be either Sophia or his mom, or
That took out.
that that was gonna die.
Okay.
They went a completely different direction than what I was expecting. Vic died at the hands of Oz. And guys, that scene actually like broke me. If you haven't seen it, well, I hope that obviously if you're watching that you have seen it, but go back. Look at both of their faces. Like Vic's face, obviously devastating. And then Oz's face, like that is a completely different, like he's crazy.
A truly, like, he is a psychopath.
Yeah, no.
Hands down. I think what was so sad about the scene is the whole time, the whole show, Vic is fighting for Oz.
Mm-hmm.
In his eyes, Oz is the Rex Calabrese character that he was talking about at the beginning of the show.
It's very parallel. There's parallels.
He's like, you got power back to Crown Point. You're giving people jobs. He fights for him, sticks out his neck for him time and time again. Honestly, Oz wouldn't be where he is at the end without Vic's help.
Not at all.
Especially
He'd
in
be
that
dead.
final stretch. He'd be dead. Worse would have happened to him. Like, Vic is the reason that Oz got to where he is. And that final, the final thing that he says, and the character of Vic stutters, so that's why Oz felt a kinship to him. He's like, you're family to me. They're like sitting in a park, like just the two of them, and the show does this incredible job of breaking down Oz's character to where you get his backstory, and basically in the show he's doing everything for his mom to try to gain his mom's love, approval, affection. If I can get more money, more power, she'll love me, she'll see me.
Speaking of that, the ending was actually like kind of
we'll get there. We'll get there.
That made me feel so uncomfortable. Anyway,
but that's Oz's entire motivation for being the kingpin of crime,
right?
Is his mom, like getting her what she wants in life. And so but throughout the show, Sophia uses that. Like, that was his one area of weakness. He was willing to give all of it up to save his mom.
Yeah.
So he realizes through that, like, family is my one weakness. So when Vic says, "You're family to me," bro, the literally saddest, he's like talking about how proud he is of him. And then he's like, "But I can't take you with me, Max."
Oh my god.
He has his arm around him like this. He's like giving him a hug. Just starts choking.
That was
dude, Vic is like
devastating.
Please. Like, they show the whole thing, and
in
then
detail.
Then he robs him. He picks up his wallet.
Well, that was because I just feel like he didn't want any suspicion on him. I think it was more like a mugging gone homicide.
That is fair, actually.
But still, I could not believe that, because I thought it was going to be either Sophia or his mom that died.
Yeah.
Both of them are still alive at the end of the show. I'm like, Victor is the one person that I wanted to come out of this, but at the same time, it's like it was always meant to happen from the jump.
It was, and I think I was in denial the whole time. I felt like Vic wasn't going to make it, but I was like, don't let it be at the hands of Oz.
Right.
Because I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, that's a real possibility. And dude, it was devastating to see.
It really was.
So speaking of that, let's talk about the Oz character.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Penguin's arc overall in the show?
Honestly, like having an arc, I don't really think he had like any character development.
It's true.
He went in the same character he came out as. It was we got to see more why he's that way.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I love when they go back, like backstory wise for these characters. Like the same thing with Moon Knight and his brother, who it was the same sort of thing where Oz has his brothers and they died and it was their fault. And it kind of forms this sort of mentality that they have later down the line.
What's crazy to me though is when they went back with Oz, they didn't go back until I believe the 7th or 8th episode.
Yeah.
And the whole show, they have you believe that Oz is kind of formed to be this way by his mom.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's presented in the first couple episodes. Like, he goes to see his mom. She's like, you need to do this. Don't be weak. Paraphrasing, very different words were used.
Yeah.
And then even Sophia, when she has interactions with Francis, it's kind of like a monster isn't just made, or a monster doesn't just happen like Oz. Like, it had to be formed by someone. It's formed by you. But what we see is in the flashback, Oz just has always had something weird in his brain to where he literally, I don't believe, has any empathy towards another human being.
He doesn't
Even
at all.
his brothers, like, essentially what happens is there's these tunnels under Gotham, and his brothers teased him and he locked them in this storm drain, but it started raining. They drowned. horrible scene, by the way, literally cuts between Oz and his mom relaxing, and he has ample time to tell her.
That's what the next thing I was gonna say is at first he didn't realize that he was killing his brothers, but in that scene you can literally see the moment where he realizes what he just did. And he chooses he chooses not to do anything about it. Doesn't tell his mom. He continues to watch a movie.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
She's asking like, "Oh wait, like they went to see what movie?" And like, you know, does not care because what he wants is his mom's affection alone and doesn't want to share it.
Exactly.
And it's crazy because at each point you see like Oz as a character is actually very simple. He hates whenever he feels slighted and will severely lash out, just like he did with his brothers, to anybody. That's the whole premise of the show. Like when Alberto in the first few moments of the first episode like insults him, popped him, gone like, and it happens with a bunch of different characters to where if you insult him, like he literally, something switches in his brain and it's just like, you are gone to me. So it's either that or you're literally just a piece in the puzzle for him to get what he wants next. He truly, like, I don't remember the last time I've seen a character where truly no one mattered to this individual. Like, as soulless and as heartless as you can get was Oz, but he even justifies it in his own brain.
He convinces himself to think that he's in the right. Like he lies to himself, like with his brothers. It's like, no, I didn't do, like he's convincing himself.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Like chronic liar.
Yeah.
But even I think, and I was listening to this podcast about it with the creators of the show, they were talking about how they wrote him in a way where, like you said, he even convinces himself, like he's always telling the truth to himself in the moment. Yeah. But it's a truth that is simply false and made up to get him to where he desires to be next, or to do what he wants to do. The Oz character was crazy, and I love the development that they gave him, especially coming from the Batman to this, because in that movie he was kind of the comic relief of the movie, and in this he's still funny. Yeah. But they grew him to where you actually see why he is such a threat. What do we want to... Where do you want to see the Penguin going forward? Because we end the show with him having removed all other crime bosses. He's kind of the head guy in the city now, exactly where he wanted to be. What do you want to see with him moving forward?
I would love to see, I think we're going to get a season 2, because originally there wasn't supposed to be a season 2. This was just supposed to be a precursor to the Batman 2. Yeah. I would love to see a season 2 where he's, like you said, like kind of at the top. Obviously, we're going to see how, well, actually, I don't know, because I don't know if for the Batman 2, if they're going to really address the Penguin, have him be the main villain of the movie.
I don't think he'll be the main villain.
I don't think he'll be the main villain.
He'll definitely be a part of it. He has been confirmed that he's in the Batman 2. Yeah. So he has a role, but I don't think he's the main villain. I think it'll kind of be like how the Batman 2, technically the main villain of the movie was the Riddler, but Carmine Falcone was still a big role in that movie to the story. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Penguin, but I think the show and this universe is doing something smart where the Batman was kind of the beginning of, or it was the end of a certain type of crime era in Gotham City. If you really think about it, like Batman has made a way for all the weird characters to start coming out. And it started with, the Riddler. We've seen Joker in that universe. But now you have guys like the Penguin, where it's just, we're moving away from like the crime families and the normal mobster types to like, these guys are actually insane, like the Penguin, or like, we're making room for other. Right. So I want to see them lean into that more, into like, I don't know what they're going to do with it.
I don't know either.
It's hard to know, but I loved that final shot of the show. Do you want to talk real quick? We'll end our Oz discussion with the final scene.
The weird
how
scene?
It ended with.
Oh man, I don't even like want to like talk about that and like put this out on the internet. Like genuinely, if there wasn't a scene that showed you how sick and twisted Oz was, it was this scene at the end. Honestly, I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't really want to articulate it. If you haven't seen it, just if you wanna.
Oh well, it's hard to talk about in a very PG way.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the way he leaves his mom.
Okay.
So
Let's
his
do
mom
that.
ends the series. She has a very serious disease. I forget what
It's dementia.
what it is. It's dementia, but it's like a rare form that's actually real, but I forget the name of it. And she essentially goes into like a vegetative state, where she can't really function. She's still alive and she's still conscious enough, but she can't speak. She can't really move. You know, she's kind of just paralyzed from now on. And Oz's whole thing was like, I'm going to get you the life you want, all this kind of stuff. But his mom, even in the end, he finds out like his whole life, she hated him for killing his brother. She knew. And she says like, you're the devil, all this. She even tries to kill him at one point in the end. And he's just living in such a state of delusion that it doesn't matter. Like, he's telling Vic, I have to do this or else, you know, I can't see my mom again, like all this stuff. So he does it. He gets the penthouse. He, you know, gets everything he wants. Literally has his mom in an empty room with a window overlooking Gotham. And he walks in the room and she has a tear because she made him promise, if I get into a state like this,
kill me.
Don't keep me alive. Like, I don't want to live like that. Like, that's torture to me. But he's so delusional that he comes in and she has a tear running down her face over like, this is torture of a life. And he's like, I know, Ma, this is everything you ever wanted. It's beautiful. It's just
and
like
she's literally in a hospital bed, like just looking over the city, can't
all day
move.
long. Nothing. It's like he is truly just one of the sickest people that I've ever seen in film. Like it's insane. So I think the last character that we can touch on, there's a lot of other stuff, but just to keep it brief, Sophia.
Yes.
Phenomenal character.
Phenomenal actress as well.
Yeah.
Like all of them.
And if you want to talk about a character arc, she goes through, I feel like, several character arcs throughout the show.
Yeah.
What was one of your favorite moments with Sophia?
My favorite, honestly, it's dark, but my favorite Sophia moment was when she gassed the house.
Yeah.
Because after seeing how Oz betrayed her initially, and then her going, like that whole episode of her in Arkham was crazy.
So hard
that
to
was
watch.
Crazy. And then she comes back and people are still treating her like she's trash and undeserving of whatever.
Yeah.
I honestly was sympathizing with her.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to.
Yeah. And
so like when she like gasses the house, kills everybody in the house, I'm like, honestly, good for you. Like in you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which is the show does well.
Exactly.
Again, it literally twists how you feel and your moral standards to be like, yes, do that horrible thing. Like, you literally murdered dozens of people, but like, do your thing.
Besides that poor little girl, which is gonna grow up just as messed up as she is.
And I think the show is so smart. I can't, maybe besides Daredevil, I can't think of a better comic book show, but even just TV show in general right now than The Penguin, because it's so good, such high quality. But with Sophia's character, like she goes through this crazy transformation of, we see her young, very naive, very innocent. And then we see her transformation into kind of like this shell of herself in Arkham and after, when she first gets out. And then she transforms into like this really expressive, kind of crazy mob boss. And when she changes her name to Gigante, Sophia Gigante.
That was so good.
That was
awesome. So good.
It was crazy. And I was like, when she was in that state, I was like, yo, keep her alive. Because I want to see Batman against her. She was awesome.
I want to see. Sorry.
No, keep going.
Catwoman and Sophia.
Yeah. Which we'll touch on.
Yeah.
But essentially, like, you see her transformation, and then the whole time she's trying to do what her father would hate. but she sees how with her niece, she essentially is the same as her father.
Exactly. It's the exact same.
And I think that's what starts the downward spiral for her away from the Gigante role, where she's trying to give up everything, trying to walk away from it all, because she's like, I'm essentially just falling into the same role that my dad had.
Yeah.
And so
the parallels are crazy, because same thing with Oz and Vic.
it's true.
It's crazy.
It's true. Yeah. So it's hard, because with all these characters, you want to empathize with them. You want to really like relate to them, and you want them to succeed, but they're also doing such horrible things. Like everything that Sophia does, everything that Oz does, it's just really horrible stuff, and they hurt a lot of people in the process. Like Sophia bombed Crown Point, like killed who knows how many people.
That was insane.
You know, like
Oz has crazy plot
damage. For real.
That was crazy. There's no way he should have lived.
My favorite part was when he got stabbed by his mom. Then he breaks out, kills all the people, and then carries his mom out.
Yeah, literally carries his mom out.
Bro, you literally got stabbed like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
What is happening? There was some crazy plot armor in the show. Sophia ends up back at Arkham. Oz betrays her, spins it to where all the bad stuff that's been happening, he pins on Sophia instead of him. And it seems like Oz is trying to position himself with the law, with like actual politicians. Because you see that scene where he's seeing the mayor. He's like, hey, I want to meet her. And that guy, the dirty council member, he's like, you got to appear clean now, because they're really cracking down on corruption. I think what they're going to do moving forward is Oz is going to try to appear very clean so that he can actually infiltrate the politics of Gotham. So like get in with the mayor, or get in with, you know, these powerful people, because he rules the underground, but there's still all that which actually has the power.
Like the police too. Like we saw the chief of police from the Batman.
Yep. All that stuff. So I think that's where he's going. But where would you like to see Sophia in the future? They teased Catwoman, who is Sophia's half sister.
Yes.
She sent her a letter in Arkham. Yep. Julian Rush.
Oh. Ooh.
That guy was horrible, bro.
That guy is psycho also.
Messed up, dog. We're not going to talk about
that. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
We can talk about it. But where do you want to see Sophia moving forward?
Definitely want to see her in Catwoman. I don't know if they're going to sort of work together, because obviously Catwoman and Batman have a thing. So it's kind of that duality of like good versus bad. Like, who do you want to go with? Because obviously Catwoman has a connection to Batman, but she also has, like, she shares blood with Sophia.
It's true.
So it's like,
and they've both been wrong.
Exactly, by Carmine.
Carmine, yeah.
So it's like, which way do you want to go? Which motive is stronger at the end of the day? So I think that'll be really cool to see how they show that dynamic between them two, for sure.
I hope they do season 2 of The Penguin. I would love to see this world more fleshed out. There's talks of other shows within this universe being developed. I would love to see Gotham, like police department show, very similar to like the Gotham Central comic series. You know, there's talks of like an Arkham, maybe Joker show. I don't know how I feel about that, but I would love to see Sophia in the Batman 2. In, you know, these other stories moving forward, because I think she just added something really special to this universe, and I don't want to see that go away.
Yeah,
like I feel like she could be one of the rogues even in Batman's lineup, because she just was so good. The performance was amazing. Yeah. So, do we want to give this show our rating?
Oh, easily, one of the best shows like I've seen, period, in a long time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the same.
Yeah.
It far surpassed expectations, and expectations for me were high. The Batman is one of my favorite movies of all time. For me, the definitive version of Batman and Gotham. No. We'll talk about it. So I thought it was so good. It was more than I could have wanted, and it made me way more excited for this universe moving forward.
For sure.
So that's our review of The Penguin. Next up, we're going to go to Nerd News. All right, so this week in nerd news, first we're gonna go to the Marvel corner. This past week we got a trailer for What If Season 3.
I actually didn't even see that.
No?
I didn't see it.
That good for you.
Does it look bad?
It looks terrible.
Oh, well. there's that.
No. I actually think it looks really good.
Okay.
It actually looks very promising compared to Season 2. I did not like Season 2. We're having some distraction in the studio.
Trolls in the studio today.
But there were some cool teases overall. There was some stuff I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. There's like an Avengers Voltron episode where they all have like
so bad
giant mechs that form together.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just says Avengers Assemble and it's a
But
Voltron.
there are also
No.
some really cool stuff. We get more, and I think what's cool about this is we're seeing some characters that we've been missing in the MCU for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Shang-Chi, Kate Bishop. They even teased at the end a version of Storm from X-Men 97.
Cool. That's
Who
cool.
has Mjolnir and the powers of Thor.
That's... You didn't
When
like
I
that?
saw, this is why he's
Well,
mad. This is why he's
'cause
mad.
I guess Thor...
I text him. I'm like, bro, did you see Storm? He's like, we're not even getting a full realized version of Thor before. I'm
Not
like,
all what I said, but it's fine.
okay, what'd you say?
So we're finally gonna see a powerful version of Thor, and it's not gonna be Thor.
Yikes.
What
Yeah,
didn't
I
you
sh-
like about the What If trailer?
Everything, nothing looked interesting. Normally, there's some episodes that look cool. There was nothing that looked cool
So,
at all.
I mean, I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I didn't even watch all the seasons.
That sounds cool, though.
I skipped around.
You didn't watch the
I watched the
this
finale.
guy.
What's your favorite What If episode?
That's a great question.
Probably the Doctor Strange episode.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mine might be. Oh, that's tough. Might be the zombies episode.
That's also a good one.
Yeah.
Mine's probably Ultron with the Infinity Stones.
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, I forgot about that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, that's probably the best episode.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Either that one, or I like the Hank Pym one.
That one
also.
was fire.
That one was really good as well.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
But
So What If Season 3 comes out in December? I forget the exact date. I apologize for that. But it's going to be kind of similar to how they did it last time. It's an event. So it's one episode every day. It's
Okay.
not like a weekly thing. So it'll be fun. It comes out around Christmas time. So it'll kind of add to the holidays. But next up, still sticking with Marvel, we have news for Black Panther 3. Denzel Washington has announced that he has a role in the upcoming movie, Black Panther 3.
That's so hype. That's so hype. I love that.
one of the best pieces of news
I love that.
we've had all year.
Yes, sir.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That feels like something where it's like, no, that's not reality. Like Denzel wouldn't do that. Like, so essentially the Marvel snipers are coming for him because I know that's not how they wanted it to be revealed.
Mm-hmm.
But in an interview while he's promoting Gladiator 2, Denzel mentioned that he will have a part in the upcoming Black Panther 3. Ryan Coogler is currently writing a role for him in the movie. So any theories on what you'd want to see? Do you want to see him be... if you're having Denzel, have him be like a main character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
for sure.
Like have him be the villain or, one of the main characters, like second lead kind of thing. You're not just going to have him be a background character.
MCU equalizer. Let's get it. Imagine.
You're crazy, bro. I still wanted him to be Magneto. I know a lot of people didn't like that. That would have been my dream.
Magneto?
You haven't seen any of that?
No, I've not seen Denzel.
Bro.
Denzel Washington as Magneto?
Yeah.
Nah, I haven't seen that.
You would have to change the backstory, which is, I know, a crucial part of the character. So
Yeah.
I understand if people don't like it, but there's this guy that does an impersonation, and he does like this famous Magneto speech as the voice of Denzel on YouTube. It'll make you want.
I need to check that.
But anyway, we have Denzel in Black Panther 3, probably coming out either in between. We don't know when Black Panther 3 is coming out. It might be after Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Could be in between. We don't know. Then finally, we have our first look this week at How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon in live action.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think? Noah, this movie is very
No, we can't talk
near and
about
dear
what
to
we
your
think.
heart. You grew up on this.
We'll just go on the positive
No.
stuff. No, I'm not saying what I actually...
Lead the way. Lead the way.
No, it looks good. I texted him. I said, everything looks great except one thing, and I will not bring that one up. Toothless looks great. Hiccup looks
Hiccup
great.
looks great. Yeah, I was about to say.
I like the casting for Astrid. I think it's gonna work.
All right,
They're
that's
scared. They don't.
that's fine. No, I'm sure she'll do a good
She'll
job
do fine.
in the role. It's just but I don't have no further comment on that.
The pictures, it literally did look like it was ripped straight out of the.
Oh, yeah,
the
for sure. There's like
animated
one.
movie.
Oh yeah, for
Look
sure.
great.
The
Like him with the
sets,
shield
Yeah,
too.
that was like literally spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Toothless looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is
Yeah.
the best.
And isn't Stoic
translation
the
you could
original
have.
voice?
Is
I
it?
think it's the original guy.
I don't
No
know.
way.
I think so.
That would be dope.
That'd be sick.
That is
That's
cool.
one of those casting that's like that's one you want to have. So
R.I.P. Stoic. That always destroys
That's
me.
tough.
Always.
what's your favorite out of How to Train Your
One.
Dragons?
One? Yeah, one.
Two's actually my
One is
favorite.
the second
Two.
greatest
That's
animated
honestly,
movie of
I'm not
all
mad
time.
at that. I'm not mad at that
Two
take.
is
Say
so
two's
good.
better.
I'd say it's better, but it's my favorite. Like if I'm turning one on, I'd rather go to 2.
Disrespect.
I'm
The first
not
one
mad
is
at
the
that take.
second
It's
greatest
just
animated
more
movie of all time.
action.
So
There were some really cool moments in 2. 1 was great though.
it's the second best anime movie of all time.
What's number 1?
Lion King?
Yeah.
You're going Lion King, then How to Train Your Dragon?
Yes.
That's crazy.
That I need to think about it because I agree with Lion King being the first. That's my favorite movie
Yeah.
of all time, and obviously I think it's the best animated. I don't know what I would put second. How to Train
One
Your
of the
Dragon is
Spider-Man, probably.
great. Oh yeah, duh. Across the
You're
Spider-Verse,
saying-
Into the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse is worse than How to Train Your Dragon?
I'm taking, bro. That's like my favorite movie of all time.
That's fair.
Like as a kid.
That's fair. Yeah. I
Then
get
Into the Spider-Verse.
Nah.
Then Ratatouille.
it. We love Ratatouille.
Shout out last week's episode. We talked briefly about Ratatouille, so go watch that.
Please go watch that. But that's our news for this week. We're very excited for the stuff coming up. Well, some of us are very excited. Next, we're going to go to wrap up.
Thanks, guys, for tuning into this week's episode of Yo Nerd. Like always, please go follow us on TikTok, Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, like, comment this video. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcast or Spotify, make sure to leave us a 5-star review. We love doing this. We love you guys' support. Love seeing the comments on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So we will see you guys next week with a surprise episode.